Hey guys, back with video 3, criteria established to evaluate success. So this is pretty much like at the end of your project, when you look back on it, what it's going to take for it to be successful. So establishing that early is a really important part of the design process. No matter what you're designing, whether you're designing something for your HSC or whether you're just a designer, like putting that criteria in is pretty important. So we'll just do it like the usual videos. The must-haves could be different, but I like to see an opening statement, so I understand that the student knows why they're establishing this criteria. It lets the teacher know that you understand the section and that you're probably going to go on and do a fairly decent criteria to evaluate the success. So, what you need, clearly identify criteria. So, what that criteria is, how it will be determined, how you're going to measure it. This is something that a lot of students miss out on, of each criteria, why each criteria is important to your design, and at the end, remembering important for that third section that we have an evaluation on everything. So let's have a look. I know I said band 6, but I'm just put that in there so you're thinking about how I'm going to get high marks. But if you want to get in the top mark range, you want to establish and analyze appropriate criteria to evaluate the success of the product, system, or environment. So I say product a lot in these videos, but yeah, in the introductory video, we talk about what a product, system, and environment might be. So you might be designing something different to a product, but yeah, just I tend to say product, so don't let that confuse you. Again, here is some information. Feel free to pause the screen and have a bit of a look at that. Might help you out. Some criteria you might want to use. A scaffold, so what the criteria is, how it relates to my MDP, so some analysis on why it's really important to that, how I'm going to evaluate it, and finally, what standard I want to achieve. As has been said before, there are probably 20 different ways to set this out. This is just one, so hopefully it helps. The markers comments, just gone over the page there. So in better responses, candidates employed functional and aesthetic criteria. They're probably going to be the most important for any design in determining the product's success, closely linked to the project proposal. So I'm always looking back at my identification of need and saying, oh, this is what I said I was going to do. Do these criteria fit? And better responses identified and explained a range of additional criteria that's specifically related to the product, system, or environment. So let's go back and look at our keywords. So you've got to establish like appropriate criteria, and you need to have some analysis on that. So what is it going to do to establish this criteria at the end of your project? Like, what if you don't succeed? What if you do succeed? Why is each criteria important? So trying to get some analysis stuff in there. And in the introductory video, we talk a little bit about what analysis is defined as. Let's have a quick look at a sample. So criteria to evaluate success. Again, just one sample, could be totally different. This is different to the scaffold I just showed you actually, but this student didn't do a bad job. What's the criteria? Why is it important? How it will be measured? And he gave it an importance rating, so he's trying kind of linking on how important it is for each one. So in this case, it's the folding skateboard again. The durability is going to be important. The function is breaking that down a little bit more. The hinged locking mechanism was important to this. Was it easy to ride? There could probably be more in there, but there's a couple of relevant criteria. The aesthetics, is it aesthetically pleasing? Is it on trend? Like designing anything, you want it to be on trend. You want it to be something that someone wants, that your target market's interested in. And interestingly, does my design create hype when viewed? Like when you look at it, do you go, I want that? And for a folding skateboard and the target market for that, you definitely want to have some hype in there. He's broken it down further, so obviously it had to be safe and had to be easy to use, like the ergonomic style of things. Had to be cost effective, had to be transportable, was really important in this case. It was folding, it's meant to fit into a backpack. The impact on society and the environment for any designer, this is what we really need to be looking at. Like it's pretty important that we're thinking, is this going to be good for people in general? And in the way that I make it, is it going to be good for the environment? And he's throwing an evaluation there at the end. So I think this one spread over about 3 pages, which is probably about normal for a criteria for success. But we just need to go back quickly and look and see if he did it. Did he establish appropriate criteria? Yeah, could have been more, maybe, but they were all appropriate. Did he provide some analysis? He kind of did, because the scaffold almost forces you to provide some analysis. Even the standard to achieve. So you're saying, how am I going to achieve this? This is the standard I need. So you're analyzing what actually needs to happen. You're analyzing how you're going to evaluate it. So it'd be hard for people to knock you too much if you were doing these things and you set it up something like that. Anyway, I hope the criteria for success helped. Please go and check out the introductory video before viewing all the videos. And thanks, guys.